This is probably going to be the last, like... Oh my god, there's someone right here. Probably going to be some of the last likes I ever send. So I'm going to make them some good ones. How fast can my fingers truly go? I don't know, it's still early in the morning. My fingers are not... I haven't exercised them nearly enough. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on! Well, it was over 1,000, but I don't think by much. I'm actually kind of extremely disappointed by that. I suck. I wonder... Not that I'm planning on replaying this game anytime soon, but is there a new game plus? Because I'm still not the great deliverer. After all this bullshit that we have been through. Oh, this isn't even a long-range strike, this is just a regular piece of shit. Huh. But yeah, after all this bullshit that I've been through, I'm still only like elite, which you would probably think is way, 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 way better than great. But in this world, great is the biggest compliment you could ever fucking give someone. Huh. Transcendent is less than great for some reason. Alright, there you go. Make delivery. Oh, I have a memory chip. I forgot. I found that in a little factory on the way here. What you got for me? Oh, he is a gog. Oh, he's not a gog.
I did to deserve such kindness.
He says that in such a weird, flirty way. I know what you're feeling down there, buddy, and that's not allowed. I'm surprised it's still working after all the times you've just ended yourself. Rest in your private room? No. Actually, yes. Yes, that is all we want to do now. Because I have finished the game. I have finished every single task I can think of doing, other than, 100%ing all deliveries, which, no. No fucking thank you. So that's definitely not happening. But what is happening is an absolute arseload of interviews. Now, this is going to take forever. I'm fully aware of that. I might even need to go and get something to eat during the middle of it, which is going to suck. But whatever. We might as well begin now with... Oh, let's play some fucking music while we do it. I keep forgetting to do that. Preferably with some of the new ones I didn't really get a chance to listen to because it just disappeared. BB's theme, by the way. Best song in the game. Very possibly. It's very good anyway. I really like it. And, oh yeah, I forgot about that Bring Me the Horizon thing. It's shit, isn't it? A friend of mine sent it to me last night. If you like it, that's obviously fine. A friend of mine sent it to me last night, and I was like, I don't think I ever heard it in-game. I don't think it's ever used at any point. And you can see why. It in no way suits Death Stranding. It's not even particularly good. And, like, I saw Bring Me when they weren't even famous. Like, I should care about that shit, but I do not. I do not at all. It sounded gross. Especially when you stack them up against Low Roar, or Silent Poets, or Ludwig Forssell, whoever the fuck that is, but I really like BB's theme. Not around... We'll start with Patience, because that's my favorite one that I know of, and I haven't heard of these yet, and I know we're going to be here for a lot longer than 5 minutes 45, so... Data. We'll start with the memory chip. Wherever the fuck that is. Oh, and I got the blast of... I showed you guys that now, you know. Thelma. Origin Motion Picture Soundtrack. Soundtrack to the 2017 Norwegian horror movie Thelma, directed by Joachim Trier, distant relative of the Danish genius Lars von Trier. The soundtrack has a distinctively Scandinavian feel. Its melodies dark, yet hauntingly beautiful. Thelma, the titular character, is a young woman raised by a strict family. Ah, spoilers, Kojima! How dare you! When she falls in love for the first time, a power that had laid dormant within her is unleashed. And it's Japan! It's tentacle. Oh, they're not tentacles at all. Those are snakes. Her power is to be very delicious to snakes. Genius. Genius. What a true hero. It's a film that captures the heart. Captures the heart, being filled with beauty, the sadness, and the fear that comes with loving someone, with trying to connect to someone. Thelma is all about what it means to connect, and what it means to sever connections. Just all of Kojima's inspirations getting their homages here. It's so cool. I just wish I found more than I did. I'm missing so many memory chips. I imagine that is going to be an achievement. That's going to take me years. So many fucking years. And someone just commented on my video with 4 banana emojis. Thank you. Thank you very much, Vera Galagos. Alright, just in case you happen to be watching with your bananas at the ready. I hope you're all watching with your bananas at the ready, to be honest. That's the only way to do so. Those are the rules. You know the rules. Alright. It's time for Higgs's journal. With the writing year unknown. Higgs. Today I made a delivery to a shelter in Middle Knot City. It was my longest trip to date. New personal best. Back when I was starting out, people tried to warn me off the life, saying it was dangerous for a prepper youngins to make runs, and that no one would ever really trust me. What was I supposed to do? Kids without parents need to eat too. It's not like I had any skills. 2 arms, 2 legs, whole lot of grit. That's all I had to offer. Grit? Grit, look at you. You fucking raccoon mascara wearing cunt. In what way do you have grit? You're like the tiniest little emo bitch boy. If you didn't have your extreme fucking otherworldly powers, you'd just be adorable. Jesus Christ. Why don't you just be working in Hot Topic? The apocalyptic Hot Topic. The only fucking clothing chain to survive the Death Stranding. God, that'd be just our fucking luck, wouldn't it? Worked out okay so far. I bring people what they need, and in return, they do right by me. The more deliveries I make, the more orders I get. Never a porter around when you need one. As long as you don't fuck up too badly, someone ought to throw you a bone. Helps that I've got a sixth sense for BTs, too. Pretty rare. Oh, my only skill is that I have legs, and then suddenly your brain is that mad. You've just forgot to mention that? Yeah? Alright, fucking fine, whatever. Pretty rare, that. Why have I made him sound like that? Pretty rare, that. It's probably one of the reasons why I get so much work. Sometimes people praise me. Tell me I'm doing society a service by helping my fellow man. Can't say that factors into it. I'd sooner keep to myself if I could. I gotta survive somehow. And I sure as hell ain't gonna manage by myself. Weren't we told that you used to be a really good guy? Or were you just like an average, kinda selfish guy who then got tempted by power? Because I guess that also makes sense, but who the fuck knows? Another prepper's kicked the bucket. I went to deliver his medicine as usual this morning, but I guess I was pretty damn late. Poor guy wasn't just dead, but on the verge of going necro. Wasn't no time to take him to an incinerator. I had to dump him in nearby BT territory. Better than leaving him to pop, especially since my own shelter is close by. Gotta look out for number 1. When I dumped him though, just before he popped, it was like I could feel the BTs reacting to his corpse. Saw the beach too. Strangest thing, I felt it before. When I first disposed of someone. Sensation was stronger this time, no doubt about it. I don't know if this means I got dooms, but I'm starting to think there's something special about me. A delivery outfit out west had tell of my BT sensing abilities, and has expressed an interest in bringing me on board. Seems they operate outside Bridge's sphere of influence, and they want to leverage my experience and know-how to expand their operation. Could be interesting. It's funny. I started making runs out of necessity, stay alive, but that's all changed. I'm an altruist now. I live to help other people. Preppers round these parts rely on me. Hell, they wouldn't last 5 minutes without me. What would my daddy say if he could see me now, huh? He taught me man's his own keeper, but here I am, part of a community. Working with other people, bringing the world together. Daddy always told me that the wide, wide world was dangerous. We had to stay in our shelter, spend our whole lives there. Die there. Fuck that. Community's what it's all about. Buddy of mine died today. He was out in the mountains on a delivery. It was so goddamn foggy. Guess he lost sight of the trail. He called me asking for help, but the line went dead. I saw the void out from here. Nearly blinded me as he wandered into BT territory. There's not many of us porters left these days. Not many you could trust on getting the job done anyway. Folks keep on dying, going mule. Attrition's a bitch. If we're gonna keep on, you need better equipment. And someone else who could track BTs. I can still manage sometimes, but power's getting weaker. I can feel it. Just wish I knew what to do, cause this rate, I'm fucked. We all are. Ha and ka. Body and soul. The two become separated, you die. In this world, at least. Death ain't the end, though. So long as your soul's got a body to come back to, you can be reborn. Resuscitated, anyway. That's why people build coffins and sarcophagi. To preserve the body and the soul, so the soul had a home to return to. Really? Really? Because I've seen a mummy just a little bit stripped down away from all its little lovely tissues. It's ugly. Would anyone even want to return to that mess? Also, to be mummified, at least Egyptian mummies, you remove the fucking brain. You remove the fucking heart. You remove the fucking... You take away many, many organs. I don't think that... What the fuck kind of body is that to even return to? It's just an empty fucking husk for you to have, like, I don't know, 3 more seconds of vaguely being alive, only to die once more. Good job, Egyptians. Good job. I learned all this from an old book I found. The Wisdom of Egyptians. Chock full of interesting tidbits about death and how to overcome it. Like the golden death masks of the pharaohs. The ones decorated using magical adornments and the indication of the wearer's prestige and power. Maybe that's how they're supposed to become their former selves again? It's like, hey, that's what we look like, not the disgusting, rotting, garbled mess inside. Because, you know, you wouldn't want to come back that ugly and, I don't know, rotten. You're not getting some when you look like that, and a life without sex is not worth living, of course. I would know. I am the king of all intercourse. I'm not the king of all intercourse. Where am I? Where did I go? Hello? Where's prestige and power? Tell you what, if we've learned anything from the beach, it's that the Egyptians had it all figured out. That's why I've decided to give myself a mask. Not a death mask, though. One for living. For ruling. Today's the last day anyone sees my face. I don't need it anymore. You were perfectly willing to show me your face, and fragile your face, many times. And you were sort of more intimidating with your face for some reason. I mean, you were never really without your face. Having a mask doesn't replace your fucking face. At least I really hope it wouldn't. But yeah, I don't know. You were kind of scarier when you were just this unhinged emo lunatic, as opposed to this dude wearing a very generic skull face mask, but whatever. This song sucks. I really want to change this one, but I'm not leaving now. Journal 6. Writing year and... I'm not going to read out the numbers. I don't know why I suddenly did it then. The Bridges way station out west got taken out by terrorists. Used a void out to do it. They dumped a corpse nearby. Let it go necro. Dropping BTs right in people's laps. Word is demons heard that Bridges was sending an expeditionary force out west to facilitate the reconstruction of America or some such. Guess they didn't take kindly to that. Terrorists, separatists, isolationists. All these folks claim America is coming for their freedom. And the old guard wants to put them in chains, make the individual subservient to the collective. They ask what's it all for in a post-stranding world, when today's triumph is tomorrow's crater. Daddy used to spout the same old tired lines. Said America never did nothing for nobody. That's why we took to living in a shelter. Better down in the hole than out there under their thumb. Yeah, was a real saint, my daddy. Tried to run a few times, but he just dragged me back inside, kicking and screaming. He put those heavy hands of his to work and remind what had happened if I disrespected his authority. That's love, ain't it? His way of looking after an orphan child he raised as his own. He was only trying to protect me from the evils of the outside world. I owe him my life and my powers too. Surely not. Because, is that not... I guess it's not inherited? I guess it's not a jizz-flowing gene or whatever. What the fuck did I just say? It's not like in... hereditary! There you go. Jizz-flowing gene is what I came up with. And I meant hereditary. Brilliant. What's wrong with me? I hate allergies. But yeah, I assumed it would have been... Well, it's supposed to be evolution, right? The Homo ludens, who I keep confusing with the Homo demons, the gay devils. Yeah, I keep confusing. Yeah, we're Homo ludens, as far as I can remember. The people with dooms. So it's evolution. Surely, it's spread by Wang. No? Whatever. Okay, I guess not. It's sort of just like osmosised into each other if you give them a nice little hug. First time I sensed a BT was when I held him. Moments before he went necro. Oh, I see. Okay. It's like when I dumped that prepper's body. My daddy showed me the corpses are precious. Powerful things. So much more than bombs. Terrorists ought to treat him with proper respect. I had us team up with a bunch of porters who service the central part of the country. Had to be done. Writing was on the wall for my crew otherwise. And guess what? The leader's got dooms. I got a feeling we're gonna be good friends. Demons and terrorists have been getting more aggressive ever since the Bridges expedition team set out. The BTs and mules weren't enough. Now we gotta keep our eyes peeled for those assholes when we're making the runs. All the more reason we've got to come together, get organized. Me and my new partner have been talking about consolidating our operations so we can cover the whole continent. If we do, I suppose that'll make us like the UCA in some respects. Different structure and methods, but similar ideology. A deep and abiding belief in the importance of community. But the devil's in the details, ain't it? Rules, structures. Can't let the people make decisions for themselves. And therein lies the risks. Can't have us repeating the sins of the past with another USA. Excuse me. And demons? Well, they ain't about to think for themselves. At the end of the day, community needs a strong leader. And the God's honest truth is that I'm the only one cut out for it. All about fucking community and everything, and then like, oh no, I am the coolest man in all the fucking world. Shut the fuck up, Higgs, you're tiny. And rumors that even Fragile at that point in her life was so much cooler than you. The sacrifices she made with a nuke and everything. She is clearly a better leader. Could she not have asserted that now? Maybe that's why it all went fucking wrong. Maybe she tried. I guess we're about to find out. The rumors I'd heard about my new partner's powers don't do her justice. I knew she had dooms, but it's on a whole nother level. I tell you, I've never seen anything like it. Not only can she perceive BTs, but she can actually use the beach. Compared to her, my powers are nothing. Parlor tricks, courtesy of a few corpses. But it doesn't matter. Not so long as I got her. Before we met, I was bound by the limitations of my abilities. I was a blind man groping for shadows of a secret realm. But now, because of her, I can actually go to the beach. The beach! With her by my side, I can reshape this world. Not into what it was, with the old USA. Not like what Bridges wants. Something new. Something everlasting. Right here. And now. A world where we are free to do whatever we goddamn please. My partner's powers are extraordinary, sure, but deep down, I know the two of us alone don't have what it takes to bring true, lasting freedom to the people. Everything we've done, that we continue to do, no matter how much it may seem to bring people together, still a far cry from the way it should be. Time for BTs, chiral clouds. All this and more serves to cut us off from the rest of creation. And I have to say, I don't think that's ever going to change. Even people like me and my partner, we have our limits. And now I've met someone who has none. Someone who could save the world from this madness. Make it whole again. Put our shattered pieces together. Samantha America Strand. Amelie. The moment I met her, I knew she was destined to make us whole again. She told me we'd do it together. And gave me a gift. Bridge baby. It's a BT sensor of sorts. Though it looks like a newborn, but it's not. Amelie says it was born on the beach, and it serves as a link between our world and the other side. Between me and her, too. What? Between me and her, too, if I keep it with me at all times. Oh, I see, okay. She called it a new child for a new era. I'm not just some delivery guy anymore. I'm a herald for her and her new world. She's given me everything I ever wanted, ever needed. And now I'm free to cut Fragile loose. BB reminds me of a baby doll, but it's no toy, that's for sure. Neither dead nor alive, half human, half something else. An inhabitant of the in-between. Like a mummy, a lump of flesh wrapped around a shriveled yet still beating heart. So many symbols to choose from, all signifying that humanity's reached the end of the road. Stranding was big number 6. I see that now. So much more, the void outs, the bodies birthing BTs. All aspects of this single phenomenon that exists solely to wipe us off the face of the earth. I can't stop what's coming. It's inevitable. Putting Humpty Dumpty back together won't change a goddamn thing. And risking life and limb to try is a fool's errand. I sacrifice what little you got, here and now, for a future that'll never come. It's wasteful. Meaningless. Amelie'd agree. I'm sure. I met Amelie on the beach again. Pressed her for more answers about the stranding. She wouldn't give me anything. Maybe she's got nothing left to give. Maybe she's waiting till the time is right. I don't know. I don't care. We all know there's no escaping extinction. I'm struggling to see her angle. Why even pretend to rebuild? Why rail against the inevitable? There's another layer to this. I can't work it out. I'm getting sick of tired of trying. If she's not gonna let me in on our plans, I'm gonna have to assume the worst and take matters into my own. Give humanity the coup de grace myself. Just need the power to do it. Dear Diary, the day I nuked Middle Knot City, wiped it clean off the map. Didn't carry the bomb myself, of course. Fragile did the honors. Delivered my mercy to the people like a good little porter. I'm sure she's surprised, but she shouldn't be. Death, destruction, part and parcel of the human condition. And bringing people together only exacerbates that. Be careful what you wish for, huh? It's like when our ancestors came from the old world to the new, and brought their old world diseases with them. Natives have no immunity, and over half died in a blink of an eye, and bam. We've only come up with better, more effective ways of killing ever since. And that work's just another means of hastening the end. This was always the logical conclusion of our efforts, mine and Fragile's. Maybe that's why I partnered up with her. To my heart of hearts, I knew it was building to this. I'm sorry about the voices that I'm unable to do right now. I am so full of fucking goo. I really, really hate allergies, and I really miss voice acting, dude. It's been so long since I've been able to do that, but whatever. Let us continue, and hopefully once summer is over, I'll be less of a corpse. Sam Porter. Where to begin? Doom's repatriate. Lone wolf. Amelie's adopted brother. Motherfucker. Impression I get is that he's a loner who found meaning in being a good Samaritan. Yeah, I tried that mask on for size once upon a time. Sweet little Amelie. Oh, she buys into his act. Thinks he knows thinks he's got what it takes to help her make America whole again. Tell you what, the more I look into it, the more he seems like he might actually be a true believer. Fucking hell. Anyway, he's a dead man walking. Even with Amelie's help, he'll be in Central before long. The second he shows, bringing a shit ton of BTs down on his head, turning that place into a crater. And it's bye-bye, Sammy Porter. Bye-bye, Bridges HQ. Bye-bye, Expedition Team. Sam's still alive. Not even a void out's enough to keep a repatriate down. Sticks in my craw. Second expedition's got wiped out, obviously. Sam seems happy enough to head west all by himself. Stupid fuck's crazier than me. Maybe just desperate. Still can't figure out why rebuilding the nation's so important to him. Well, whatever. He wants to keep at it, it can be my guest. Even if he still had the others backing him, it wouldn't make a difference. Ending's already been written. I've worked it out. Worked out exactly how it's going to go down, but Zooms alone isn't enough. I need a greater power to finish the job. To rain down fire and brimstone on these modern-day Sodoms and Gomorrahs. Discovered the truth about Death Stranding. Amelie's powers have nothing to do with Doom's. She's destruction incarnate. The angel of the Stranding. The extinction entity. I understand now what my true role is. The bridge that will deliver her judgment to this world. The executor of the end. No one knows. Not even Sam. But they will. Sam's arrived in Port Knot City, and with Fragile to boot, I think I'll meet him there. Bring a BT or two along for the ride. It's past time I showed Bridges how powerful I've become. Come one, come all. We'll have ourselves an annihilation party! And when it's over, there'll be no one left to come between me and Amelie and the end of the world. God damn, is Sammy boy stubborn. This ain't the quitting type. Seems it's rubbing off on Amelie, too. I was trying to fight her true nature, flip the script. All the good it'll do her. What difference does it make if it ends tomorrow or a million years from now? Planet's 4.6 billion years old, and the universe, God only knows. Humanity's entire history's a blip on that timescale. What's the fucking point of fighting for a fraction longer? Anyway, Sam and Fragile made it to Lake Knot City, which is just as well. I reckon my old partner's due for a stroll down memory lane. As sauntered through the crater she carved out with that little old nuke of mine. Come to think of it, maybe Sam ought to work it with her. Yeah, I think I'll have him make special delivery just for me. Well, shit. Sam and Fragile managed to dispose of my nuke before I went off. They weren't smart enough to see through my disguise, but someone must have tipped them off. Probably that I wrote on the tag. I know I should have resisted the temptation, but come on! Who reads that shit these days? Now he's halfway to the coast. He's in my neck, but he's in my neck of the woods now. My boys ain't gonna let up. We're gonna make him regret ever fucking with me and mine. Fuck was that storm that sucked up Sam? Supercell, whatever. Hooked on my BB just before it arrived. It started shaking and blinking. It's all gone sideways. Something else out there. Something all kinds of fucked up. I need BB to tell me that. Got Amelie, fucking finally. She's trapped in Edge Knot City. Horde of BTs all around. She's not going anywhere now. No, I'm gonna take good care of my sweet little angel of death. My extinction entity. We got plans, me and her. And as for you, Sammy boy, you're gonna learn what it means to really suffer. Shit, fuck, no, why am I all the way up here? How did that even happen? Am I truly suffering? I am truly suffering, and we got an achievement. Wonder what the fuck that is. Read 100 interviews. Not all interviews? You didn't think... Can we skip this fucking song? Jesus Christ. No. Skip the fuck... Oh my god, why am I even out here? There we go. Oh, it's over anyway. That was truly horrible. Thank you for putting a fucking jackhammer to my eardrums, Low Roar. What the fuck was that? Okay. Let's get all the way back down to Higgs. Sorry about that. That fucking sucked. Man, we read a fuckload. Welcome to the Edge, Sam. You're a real asshole, but I gotta admit, you got grit. You remind me of me in that regard. And because we share a connection to Amelie. She gave you your dream catcher. Me? My Kipu. But you've never seen her face, have you? Never looked her in the eye. Seen her for what she truly is. Time to wake up and smell the ashes, Sammy boy! Time for me to tell you! Tell everyone! It's truth that high to the heart of the stranding. Oh, you're gonna love it. I'd go grab some shut-eye at a distro center or wherever, if I were you. We got a showdown coming, and you're gonna want to be fighting fit. Just don't keep me waiting too long. You hear? You're all alone now. You've lost everything. Your mask, Hakipu, the BB doll. Come on. I thought you had the power. You were the one fated to lead them all unto extinction. Yet here you are. Alone. You thought you were in control. But this was your role, your dream. The verge of victory, of oblivion, for one and all. Herald, executor, pawn, god particle? Stupid name for a stupid goddamn fool. This was your life, Higgs. Your tale, told by an idiot, full of sound and righteous fury, signifying nothing. My first memory is looking up at the ceiling of our shelter. As a baby, bawling my eyes out. All of a sudden, the hand of God comes into view, blotting out the steel sky. Daddy lifts me up, not gentle, not hard, shouts some stuff. It's all gibberish I can't make heads or tails of. He ain't my real daddy, though. That one died before I was born. Mama soon after. Disease or something. I don't know. Her brother took me in. Whisked me away from that shelter reeking of piss and death. Brought me here. Daddy number 2. He never really took to it. He was an ugly, violent man. Full of anger with nowhere to go. Tried to love me. His own way. I don't know if he ever had it in him. Daddy told me our shelter was our world, and I believed him. I grew up thinking no one but us two existed. And I got a little older, started asking questions. Simple questions about where the food came from, that kind of thing. Smacked upside the head for my troubles. Try as he might, he couldn't beat the curiosity out of me. One day I peeked at his monitor. The first glimpse I'd ever caught of the outside world. I pestered Daddy about it. And you bet I caught holy hell for it. But I wore him down. Eventually he came clean. Admitted there was a whole world out there. soaked to the bone by timefall and overrun by demons that had eaten me up. It occurred to me later this fear-mongering probably got my mama killed, filling her head with hysterics about the dead walking the earth and the only safe haven being 6 feet under. My mama entrusted me to her brother, so he had no choice but to raise me the best he could. Say what you will about the man, but he had himself a sense of obligation. He even harbored a measure of affection for me. But whatever was in his heart, he expressed with his hands, his fists. Any hopes and dreams he might have had for me, for us, fell by the wayside pretty quick. We slipped into a daily routine of warnings to stay the fuck inside, bookended by beatings to drive the point home. I think sometimes he sincerely believed that was the only way to protect me, but I wasn't about to go on living like that. Can't cage a young boy's spirit. If I'd stayed, I'd have died, body and soul. I had to get out. Started hoarding supplies in secret. He caught on. That was the beginning of the worst beating yet. He was grabbing anything and everything within reach that could be used as a weapon, tearing our shelter apart, smashing furniture, while wailing like a wounded animal, tears streaming down his face. He pinned me down, spit flying in my face. He blubbered on about me not understanding his pain. His fucking pain! His hands around my neck! Darkness creeping in from the corners, and his fucking pain! His fucking pain! Kitchen knife in my hands. In his neck. His hands. His fucking hands that grow weak. And he just deflates like a balloon all over me. I roll him off. I look into his glassy eyes, filled with this fucking pain. A steel sky. I didn't know how to feel after. Spend the night next to him, my mind a blank canvas. In the back of it, a nagging voice saying I had to dispose of it. Daddy hadn't told me much, but he had told me about how bodies go necro, pop BTs, all that. And for a good bedtime story. So I knew what would happen if I let him lie. Death had come into our home, into a crater. Stink was starting to fill up the room. I had to deal with him. I had to get him out, get him as far away as possible. I got my arms under his and dragged him into a new world. Bigger sky. Bigger. Emptier. Bare rock dotted with bushes all around. Mountains. Fucking mountains off in the distance. Chiral clouds hugging their peaks. My knees started getting wobbly. The world began to spin, and I knew the clock was ticking. Eyes down, gotta deal with Daddy. I've been moving at a steady clip when I saw it. Corallium coming off of Daddy. Little motes of shimmering light. I was out of time. I laid him down in the dirt, but before I let go, I had a vision. My hands, still resting on his body, disappeared, vaporized into a fine mist. Poof. I felt another presence. BT coming slow but sure, like it had been walking since the beginning of time. Daddy's keeper. It was the first one I sensed. It wasn't the last. For a long while after, I remained awakened to their presence. A sixth sense. Daddy's parting gift to me. Over time it had faded, but I knew how I got it. I knew how to get it back. All I needed was another body. And I got real good at making them. Death for life. As for mine. Fair exchange. You were genuinely starting to become a bit sympathetic, dude. Until you claimed that the fucking suffering, the snuffing out of an entire existence, an entire set of memories, a life, is a fair exchange for just your measly little fucking powers. Fuck you, Higgs. Fuck you. All we have left is Lucy's report. And I have no idea who... That's my wife. That's Sam's fucking wife. Hold on. I need to see this, don't I? Where unknown, report date, time unknown. Where do I find you? I assume it's what's it called? Like a The memory chips. It's got to be the memory chips, but I have no idea what they could even be. Maybe it's orders. I don't know. It doesn't necessarily have to be this. It doesn't necessarily have to be memory chip. Oh no, this could take me forever. Okay, I've got a lot to think about here. I'm definitely reading this. This is fucking important. To me, to the game, to Sam, to everything. And I've just reinvested myself so fucking hardcore in this world. And low roar helps so much. Jesus fucking... Stop it. Slow down. Pause. Bad. No. There we go. I'm gonna get myself something to eat. I'm gonna calm down after that mess that was Higgs's goddamn journal. I fucking despise you, little emo bastard. And I will see you guys once my undying hunger has been quenched at last. See you guys real soon. I'm gonna figure out this Lucy thing. Alright. We're back. Now, there is a lot to get through to get the Lucy's report. There are an unbelievable amount of places you have to go and deliveries that you have to fuck with to even get close. I believe 8 is the last one. No, it goes all the way up to 12. Holy shit, I got a lot of reading to do. I'm not gonna do those deliveries. They're not special deliveries. It's literally just like, deliver a record to Hartman. The end, here's number 5, etc, etc, etc. So, I think I'm going to Google them, if it allows me. And this is shitty, I'm fully aware, but is it... Do I have to? You guys really gonna force me to do that? I didn't think so. So, because I imagine if you stayed this long anyway, you just want to hear me read the things, which is very lovely, thank you. So, here we go. I'm gonna have to read this on my phone, so if I take a little bit longer, or I sound a little bit further away from the mic or something, I apologize for that, but this is the only way we're gonna really be able to do this. So, UCA 01032 has been wiped off the map by a void out, leaving nothing but an enormous crater. Terrorism was suspected at first, but the investigation spearheaded by Bridges quickly ruled out the possibility, and eventually concluded that the cause was the corpse of a civilian which had been left to necrotize, unnoticed, in an urban residential area. The deceased was Lucy Strand. Tragically, she was also 7 months pregnant. The child had already been named Lou. The cause of death was ruled a drug overdose, possibly intentional, though that remains unconfirmed at this time. Surveillance data was sent to Bridges HQ for analysis, but the results were inconclusive. Lucy's husband, Sam Strand, has been away for some time, and became concerned when he was unable to contact his wife. Though he attempted to return home, the void out triggered immediately after his arrival. Being a repatriate, Sam was the sole survivor of the blast. As the deceased was the wife of a prominent member of Bridges, who himself is the son of President Strand, public support for the organization suffered. Many criticized the crisis management team's handling of the situation, as well as the priorities of the organization and President Strand herself. Some believed that Sam was involved with his wife's death, and that he should be held to account. While both the administration and Bridges adamantly defended him for a time, public pressure continued to mount. In a gesture to his co-workers suspect was his way of taking responsibility, Sam Strand resigned from Bridges. His whereabouts, currently unknown. Now this is actually Lucy. The next one is Report 1, who is written by her, I think. So this could be pretty crushing. I've just concluded my first therapy with Sam Strand. It was not held at the patient's request. Sam's adoptive mother, President Strand, approached me in the hope that I might help her son overcome his aphenphosmophobe. Sam is an intriguing case. His reluctance notwithstanding, he recognizes that his condition has and will continue to cause him much distress. I suspect it is rooted in childhood trauma, but unfortunately, we have only just scratched the surface, and I cannot even begin to speculate what it might be. Like many of the Bridges core team members, Sam is a doom sufferer. Unlike them, however, he is also a repatriate. Whether or not this is related to his I cannot say at this time, but he would hardly be the first to manifest phobias as a result of his abilities. As an infant, Sam lost both parents and was adopted by President Strand, owing to her stress and time-consuming responsibilities. I can only presume that she was unable to afford him with sufficient attention. which is to say that a distant relationship with his adopted mother may be a contributing factor. As preciously mentioned, okay, though, Sam is very reluctant to talk about himself. He is an intensely private individual, and it will take time to build up trust and convince him to open himself up to me. Sorry about that, I'm coughing so fucking bad today. It's really gross. Trust me, it's more gross for me than it is for you. Progress has been slow, but Sam has finally started to open up to me. However, his recollection of his early childhood is confused and contradictory. He has difficulty distinguishing between genuine memories and reoccurring dreams. Sam even claims to have met his stepsister Amelie on the beach several times while quite young. An impossible claim, to say the least. I'm only a little older than Sam, but I was born before the Death Stranding, a fact that tends to affect the way that we think about the beach. In my professional opinion, the beach is a figment of our collective imagination, a shared delusion, but people born later are more likely to take its existence as a given. I wonder if they find comfort in the belief, because it helps to explain phenomena like BTs and repatriates like Sam. Similarly, my theory is that Sam's manufactured childhood memories of the beach are his way of coping with the fact that neither Amelie nor Bridget spent much time with him. I believe this is also the reason he still clings to the dream catcher Amelie gave him even now as an adult. You could call it his security blanket. It may also be the key to overcoming his affenfetopitbu. If Sam were to emotionally distance himself from Amelie, it might reduce his resistance to physical intimacy. I will propose this approach next to him in our next session. Report number 3. It came as no surprise, but Sam was unreceptive to my suggestion and rejected my assessment of his relationship with Amelie. He asserted that he is not dependent on her or Bridget, and even went so far as to question my credentials as a psychotherapist. His pronounced resistance to the idea only serves as further evidence of his dependency. Nevertheless, there is little I can do if Sam is unwilling to explore the possibility, other than continue to share my observations and hope that he eventually changes his mind. For the time being, I've decided to focus instead on Sam's feelings towards Bridges and his place within the organization. Given that it was founded to support and protect his adopted mother, and that other core members have dooms like he does, I think there is something to be gained from the discussion. His growing responsibilities within Bridges due to their expanding mandate and his abilities as a repatriate surely put him under greater pressure. And I wonder if his enthusiasm for their mission was sincere. Based on our time spent together thus far, I believe he may have embraced his role because it helped him cope with the feelings of isolation, that he pledged himself to an impossible endeavor because it was preferable to living and dying alone. Report number 4. I decided a different approach was required, and so I requested a meeting with the president. Discretion was vital, as any information which might suggest she is receiving mental health treatment could be exploited by our opponents. The meeting was listed as an interview in official records, though I was more than willing to offer my services had they been requested. I opened by asking about Sam's childhood, to which the president responded with an immediate and heartfelt apology. Her frankness shocked me. I must confess, she expressed deep regret for her failure to engage with him, physically and emotionally, as she felt as a mother should. At times it felt as though she was apologizing to her son by proxy. Her candor was as impressive as it was appreciated. The president told me that her daughter Amelie had taken care of Sam in her absence. She glossed over the details, but she divulged that Amelie also has dooms and claimed that she would often take Sam with her to play on the beach. Interestingly, President Strand suggested that their time spent together there may be related to his current condition. Hold on, I don't think that was actually the end of that, but I stopped reading. No, that was the end of it, fair enough. Felt like there was probably meant to be more of that, but sure. Maybe it continues in 5. President Strand loves her son. My meeting with her confirmed this beyond any doubt. The question, I believe, is whether or not Sam has perceived his mother's love. Both Sam and the president talk about the beach as though it were a real, physical place, but I remain convinced that it does not exist. That it is a shared delusion, and that Sam and Amelie's so-called visits are mental constructs. Sam would not necessarily be of this, especially if it had been planted in his mind. Be of this? I think that's a typo, but whatever. May not necessarily be of this, especially if it had been planted in his mind. Such an explanation would fit with his claims that he has never been able to visit the beach of his own volition. What if, subconsciously, Sam has developed an attachment to or longing for the beach, one that parallels his feelings towards his sister and mother. Furthermore, what if they have all become, in essence, objects of veneration? Upon further consideration, it is not so hard to imagine. President Strand is an exceptional woman who exhibits pan-romantic qualities, as does her daughter Amelie. This is surely one of the reasons why they have been able to commit themselves so completely to the cause of American Reconstruction, their one true love. Sam, on the other hand, I have diagnosed as demisexual. His sexual desires are strictly limited to those whom he has formed an emotional connection, excepting family members like Amelie, of course. It is only natural to more highly regard those with whom he develop intimate emotional connection. For children, this can lead to veneration. Yet there is also an inherent contradiction in this, for divinity is distant by nature, even as we yearn to grow closer to it. I have come to the conclusion that this contradiction is the root of Sam's aphanphosmophobia. Look at me, I actually attempted it that time and didn't completely fuck it in the arse. Number 6. I decided to share with Sam my working theory regarding his condition. I was prepared for some resistance, but the intensity of his anger was surprising. He glared at me as he reframed my assessment as wild speculation that he had been brainwashed by a cult. It was the first time I'd managed to coax from him such a powerful emotional response. While I found it a little frightening, I did my best to remain professional, welcoming the breakthrough, the reduction in distance between us. That was how I presented myself. But in retrospect, a part of me was delighted by his aggressive response. Now is not the time for jokes, me. Shut the fuck up. Sam stated that he is a repatriate. I challenged him and said that repatriation was nothing more than fiction used to explain the phenomenon of near-death experiences, one that makes use of the equally fictional beach. Water. Emboldened, I pressed him further, until I finally told him to snap out of it, to renounce his fantasies about the other side. For an instant, I thought he might explode in anger again. But instead he grew quiet, and after a long moment he rose to his feet and left the room without saying another word. I fear I may have pushed him too hard. Oh God, where to begin? Sam turned up for his appointment today, right on time. I remember he looked calmer than usual though. That might have been wishful thinking. He'd been thinking a lot about our last session and how it had ended. He said he wished I was right about the beach and what it meant to be a repatriate. That he appreciated the time we'd spent together. That I'd spent listening to his stories. By the way, this is riddled with typos. So if I'm sort of stopping, I'm trying to piece together what it's supposed to be saying. I don't know why this is fucking riddled with typos. This seems like a very, very important thing to not have fucked up, but sure, whatever. To be fair, it could be the wiki page as opposed to what's found in-game. That's probably more likely than Kojima doing the big bad. And then he pulled out a syringe. He was still so calm, though at that point, I sure wasn't. He said it wasn't all in his head, and that he could prove it. And then he stuck the needle in his chest. It all happened so fast. I froze in my chair as he went into convulsions, eventually falling out of his seat. I ran to him. Then, as he was laying on the floor, motionless, I removed the syringe and performed chest compressions. But it was too late. I sat there next to him for what felt like an eternity. And then he opened his eyes, sat up, still wearing that same calm expression. There was another handprint on his arm, a fresh one, left by the dead, he told me before. I'm a repatriate, he said. I'll do it in his... I'm a repatriate. And that's gruffer than... I'm a repatriate, he said. Every time I die, I get stuck in between and come back. He was searching my eyes now, reaching for the words as much as they were struggling to come out. That world won't have me. Neither will this one. I'm only free to come and go when I'm with her. With Amelie. There were tears in his eyes. He looked so lonely, so... I started crying too. I'd taken his hand in mine without realizing it, but he didn't pull away. I squeezed and he squeezed back. He needs someone he can be close to, be intimate with. Someone outside of his family. Someone who isn't Bridget or Amelie. Someone to whom he can reveal the whole of himself. Someone who'll devote themselves to him. Me. I don't remember what I said, but I remember that he nodded. And he smiled. We held each other for a long, long time. A A few days after the incident in my office, I tendered my resignation. A classic case of countertransference. The therapist getting emotionally involved with their client, and there was no way my professional pride would permit me to continue working. I felt guilty, of course. There's a permanent shortage of therapists, and many of my clients will struggle to find help elsewhere. After what happened with Sam, I didn't see another option. To be honest, I've already come to terms with it. What I'm doing for Sam more than makes up for it. I never normally use this word, but I really do believe that his phasmophobia has been cured. He's shown so much progress that absent extremely traumatic experience, I doubt his symptoms will ever return. To my surprise, the president didn't have any problems with our relationship. If anything, she was pleased. I suppose this means soon I'll be joining the Strand family, together with this new life growing inside of me. You're pregnant immediately? Or are you writing this up quite a long time down the line? Because it says a few days after the incident in my office. It sounds like she is writing this from the future now. But also, what the fuck? Okay, sure, whatever. Sam works fast. He's literally never been able to touch another human being. And then within minutes, he's directly inside of someone. Genius. Genius. Good job, Sam. That sure is a cure. Our baby is doing well. We've been told we're having a girl. Sam's already picked out a name for her. Louise. Lou, he likes to call her. He talks to her a lot, touching my stomach, telling her to grow big and strong. Bridget was delighted when he my big and strong. That's so he wants some kind of terrifying Amazon dominatrix as his daughter, and who could possibly blame him? Bridget was delighted when she found out and suggested that we take a family photograph. Emily was out of town, so it was just the three of us, blushing, smiling, and that same blush, that same smile when we received the printout, along with apologies for being old-fashioned. There was a funny little message on it. Be stranded with love. Handwritten and signed. It's unique now. You can't digitize or copy it. Always remember those words. In that moment. Forever. Little Lou's 28 weeks old now. The doctors just checked us both out and said we're doing fine, but I'm not so sure. Lately, I've been having the same terrible dream every night. I open my eyes and I'm all alone on the beach. I'm lonely and afraid, so I start wandering around, looking for someone, anyone. I spot Sam and Amelie standing at the water's edge, their backs to me. Relieved, I call out to them. Her hair shimmers in the grey light. When she turns, it's her mother's face, twisted with sadness and pain. She speaks, and she says, "I'll be waiting for you on the beach." And I scream so loud. And then I wake up. Everything's gone wrong. I didn't understand at the time. I was a therapist, a good one. But even I couldn't make sense of the nightmares or what was happening to me. Bridget came to visit the other day. "They're not nightmares," she said. I hadn't told her yet. I felt Lou stirring inside of me as she continued. She said she was sorry, that she hadn't known it would happen. "Lou's special," she said. She said that a lot. Lou had Sam's blood, and through her I was bound to the beach. Don't be afraid. She said that a lot too. Cured Sam, made him whole, given him a life to live for, to protect, made him a part of this world. She had a lot to say about that. About how the world was a jumbled mess, life and death all mixed up, but that Sam, my Sam, might be the one to make it whole again, like I'd made him whole. Without him, our fate was sealed. But with him, there was still a hope for the future. And then she told me I was right. The beach exists within each of our minds, but that didn't mean it was just a figment of our imagination. It had value, purpose, and in time, I would understand. She took my hand, like I'd taken his on that day a lifetime ago. She smiled, squeezed. I was there, on the beach. Everything I had seen in my nightmares, I saw in that instant. Somewhere inside me, Lou was laughing, and And it all fell into place. Sam's birth, his family, the Death Stranding. For the first time I saw how all the pieces fit into a terrible truth I didn't want to believe but couldn't deny. I saw my part in it too. Little Lou's. Those funny little words in the picture. Be stranded with love. And I was. You'll have questions, and I wish I had all the answers, but I don't. I only hope this will help you to understand. Lou's kicking woke me up. I was alone, still half asleep, so everything around me looked askew. I had all too familiar feeling of waking up and dreaming, being tangled up. But you, Bridget, and Amelie lead even more muddled lives, don't you? A reality between life and death, between this world and the next. Because of all this chaos and confusion beyond imagination, stranded on our shore. There are pills on the table next to me that I just took. All at once. I tried to make sense of it. This was never my world. I was born into an older one without a beach, where the dead stayed buried and life moved on. Damn it, I'm shaking so hard. I don't think the drugs are working. I got some syringes loaded with sedatives. Enough, I think. I'm gonna use them. One after another. Until I run out. I love you, Sam. I'll always love you. Oh, fuck. That's all of it. That's all of Lucy's. And through just a little bit of text like that, I feel like we now know so much more about why Sam is such a poor, broken man when we first meet him. And arguably, even at the end, who knows what's going to happen? Maybe little Lou? Maybe you can give Sam a reason to go on. Because, I mean, without Sam, what's Lou got? Lou won't fare well on his own. He's a bridge baby out of his fucking pod. He can't survive. I mean, I'm sure he's probably got immense fucking powers now, but I have no idea what they would be. And, well, there are just 2 more reports left to read. Starting with Die Hardman's past. Number 1. Name, John Blake McClane. U.S. Special Forces enlistment record. Nationality, American. McClane scored above average in his physical and mental aptitude tests. His talents were recognized by Captain Clifford Unger, who elected to give McClane special training. Under Captain Unger's command, McClane took part in several missions, during which he earned a reputation for surviving against all odds, as evidenced by his nickname, Die Hardman. And number 2. That was the whole thing, by the way. The following information concerning John Blake McClane's death was recovered following the activation of the chiral network. It is presented without comment or interpretation. All personal data and official documentation concerning the subject indicate that he is deceased. However, even after reconstruction and collation of data from additional sources, we are unable to confirm cremation of the subject's corpse. Unfortunately, recovery of incinerator records from the time in question has so far proved difficult, on account of the incident's proximity to the Death Stranding, while the possibility that the corpse underwent necrosis and subsequently transformed into a BT cannot be ruled out entirely. The probability is exceedingly low. In other words, there is no evidence that the subject has in fact died. Significant portions of the subject's personal data appear to have been discreetly modified and expunged. Nice. But forensic study has led us to the discovery of a living individual who bears a striking resemblance to the deceased, hence the mask. Subsequent analysis of genetic samples do indeed confirm a DNA match for this Die Hardman. I think I'm missing some. I was very wrong about this being the final 2 interviews. There are 3 more actually. Starting with Clifford Unger Case Review, Part 1. Captain Clifford Unger, formerly U.S. Army Special Forces, honorably discharged, was shot dead at a government facility under executive supervision. It should be noted that prior to this altercation, he had cooperated fully with our researchers and contributed to our ongoing BB experiments. On the day of the incident, Captain Unger took an experimental BB hostage and barricaded himself inside one of the facility's rooms. After assessing the situation, the President ordered that a non-violent resolution be pursued. Oh, is that so? Fucking Bridget. Ensuring no harm came to either the Captain or the BB. However, this order was directly contravened by Presidential Advisor John Blake McClane, who shot and killed Clifford Unger. Following the incident, McClane refused to surrender himself into custody and fled, and was accordingly designated a most wanted fugitive. Efforts to locate and detain McClane were unsuccessful. However, the search was later called off when an unrelated investigation into suicide found that the deceased possessed the same social security number as McClane. The body was cremated before physical identification could be performed. Now, he's massively in love with Big Bridget, right? So I imagine he opted, but potentially even offered before it was even her idea to take the fall for this. I was just like, whatever, it's fine, we'll pretend I'm dead and you can just go about your lovely little day. So I guess that's what happened, but there are two more into this. It's not about Die Hardman, it's about Clifford. But I guess here we go. John Blake McClane was placed under Captain Unger's command upon being accepted into U.S. Army Special Forces. McClane performed exceptionally in training and subsequent deployments, earning commendations and a reputation as a born survivor, who could be thrust into the worst situations imaginable and emerge unscathed. Around the time Captain Unger was discharged, McClane was chosen to serve as special advisor to President Bridget Strand. Though his primary duty was to ensure her personal safety, he became intimately involved with the Bridges 1 initiative, as established by President Strand. Several days prior to the hostage incident, it is suspected that McClane collaborated with Captain Unger to abduct a BB. It has since been confirmed that McClane actively compromised security protocols in a manner which directly aided Captain Unger in his attempt. Well, to be fair, Bridget could have done this to him, because he was very, very, very much going against her throughout most of it. I mean, he still tried to bail his captain out, but he shot him in the fucking head. You know, I don't know. I imagine maybe she did get pissed, tell him to do all this, and he just agreed because he's a pathetic little man when it comes to her. Shit, okay. Therefore, it seems likely that McClane resolved to kill Captain Unger upon concluding that their plot had failed. Though their motives remain unclear, it is speculated that Captain Unger was in possession of compromising information regarding his former subordinate, which he leveraged to secure McClane's assistance in abducting a BB. When this attempt failed, McClane killed Captain Unger in a moment of desperation to prevent him from later revealing what he knew. Later, when McClane grasped the gravity of the situation, he chose to take his own life, rather than face the consequences of his actions. I mean, suicide is a pretty big fucking consequence, don't you think? Due to the circumstances surrounding the murder of Captain Unger and subsequent suicide of John Blake McClane, President Strand assumed direct control of Bridges to ensure that the BB experiments continued. As the organization's purview was expanded, the restrictions were reduced. They become President Strand's primary security apparatus. I guess that's another typo, whatever. An elite organization under her direct command, wholly devoted to her mission of American Reconstructionism. A new director was subsequently appointed to lead Bridges, an individual known only as Die Hardman. That dude worked at Bridges for a very long time. This guy puts on a shitty little dollar store Halloween mask, and everyone completely forgets what his voice sounds like, completely forgot, like, his height, and his baldness, and his face shape, and his eyes, and every little aspect about him. No one suspected a fucking thing. Are you kidding me? That is straight up stupid, unless it was years and years and years later. Plus, I mean, no one questions the president. Apparently, Big Bridget is fucking terrifying. But guys, that's everything. I think it's over. And I'm truly, truly sad about that. Like I said, until those final 5 chapters, I loved this game. I really, really, really loved this game. But it wasn't even close to my top 10. Those final 5 chapters I think earned it a very, very solid place in there. I don't know where, because it's really hard to compare this game to other games where it's nothing like any other game I've ever fucking played. In a good way. A lot of people say that as if it's a bad thing. It's a fucking good thing. As long as you give it the chance to fucking shine, because like I said, I liked it all the way through, but it was only those last 5 chapters. And it's not like I wasn't gripped to begin with. It was just a game that kept getting better and better and better and better and better. And oh, Kojima, you are just a god, aren't you? And I'm so glad Sony gave such a creative force just all the freedom in the world. I know they keep taking gambles doing that. It clearly worked out with Kojima, less so with Neil Druckmann, but whatever. Less said about that, the better. Genius. 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 Fucking genius. Obviously, it's got its issues. Every game has its issues, but this is one of the greatest games I've ever played. Do yourself a favor, go out and play it, and thank you guys so much for watching. If you are new here, please do consider subscribing, because clearly we have some incredible content going on right now, as you can fucking see. We got some amazing stuff in the past, and the endless fucking massive backlog that yes, you can shower, Sam. Endless fucking massive backlog. I think we're over 3,000 videos now, which is absolutely insane. Guarantee you there will be something there for you to enjoy. Do not sue me. And some even more incredible stuff coming in the future. Way more delicious Norman Reedus shower scenes like this if Kojima gets his way. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Please do like, subscribe, share, comment, all that amazing stuff. It really does help out with me and the channel. And I will see you in the next one. But for now, this is Strike signing off, and I will leave you with that leg hair. Goodbye!